What's up, everybody? It is Lavon Cason here, back at it again with another video. So there's been some influencers out there that got their hands on the Xbox Series X, and now they're uploading their experiences of the system itself. Granted, it is a preview unit, so yeah, so expect the full reviews to probably be closer to sometime at the week of the system launch or something like that. But anyways, we're gonna watch one of the influencers' first impressions, which is Austin Evans, and his video is called Xbox Series X Let's Play. So let's begin.
This is a fully functional Xbox Series X, so we think it is time to finally play some games. So I've been using an early preview unit of the Xbox Series X for a few days now, and while the full review will certainly have to wait, so make sure you're subscribed, there is a lot to talk about here. So I have spent time back in February playing some games on the Series X, including a version of Minecraft that is a demo with ray tracing. Now, ray tracing is, of course, one of the features on both the Series X and the PS5. And while this particular display is certainly very much a beta, we don't actually know if it will ever ship. But if you look at something like Minecraft for RTX, you can see that there's a ton of potential here. We've also seen Gears 5 running at above Ultra PC spec at 4K 60 on the Series X, and a number of different gameplay trailers and bits and pieces that hopefully will be shipping before the end of the year, or the end of next year, or just at some point in our lives. However, today I have a handful of games that I can actually play today that are fully functional on the Series X. So let's take a look, because there's definitely some very interesting things here. So first of all, I have Forza Horizon 3. So this is a game that came out back for the Xbox One, and it subsequently did get a patch for the One X, so it's running in full 4K. But if I want, I can hop out to go into a game like Gears of War. This is an original
Xbox the quick resume feature, okay. It's pretty fast, pretty fast.
Xbox One X patch, which means that it's going to run at a higher resolution. But as you can see, the performance is absolutely flawless. One of the nice things about this is that no matter what you want to play, you essentially can play it on the Series X. So of course, all Series S and X games are compatible. The vast majority of Xbox One games are compatible, and you also have 360 games as well as original Xbox games. If you can play it on an older Xbox, pretty much everything can be played. You can't play everything. You can't play the vast.
He almost slipped up and said, you can play nearly every 360 game. You can play nearly every Xbox 2001 game. He almost slipped up right there. Oh, Lord have mercy. Oh, Lord have mercy.
All the good ones. Okay, there's a yeah. So depending on the game, you get some base level of added performance. So first of all, load times are going to be better across the board, and I'll talk a little bit about that in a second. But beyond that, if a game has dynamic
the
extra headroom on the CPU and the GPU of the Series X is always unlocked, so you should be always at like 4K or whatever the max that the game supports. And same thing goes for the frame rate. If there's any kind of unlocked frame rate, if you were maybe 40 or 50 FPS on a game on the Xbox One or the One X, that should pretty much always be at 60 just because there's so much more power in the Series X. Alternatively, in the case of a game like Gears, which is actually seen in the Series X patch, for that, you're getting those higher graphic settings, and specifically the ability to run at higher frame rates. So the Series X does support 120 FPS right out of the box, and Gears 5, for example, will be able to allow you to do 120 FPS in the multiplayer. But from what I've heard, it actually is fairly straightforward if you have a game running on Xbox One to unlock a higher frame rate without having to do a ton of work to the rest of the game. So we may see some hybrid titles where they're full Series X releases, they're just Xbox One games running in backwards compatibility, and then you could have essentially the same game that you were running on Xbox One, just running at double the frame rate, which if that's possible, would be very
that'll be cool.
Now let's take a look at a few games that haven't been optimized for the Series X at all. Beyond the more powerful CPU and graphics, of course, there's that standard SSD.
Only took 10 seconds. Only took 10 seconds for the Xbox Series X to load Forza Horizon.
It's not even close. Where the Series X gets into the game in just over 10 seconds, the One X takes
45 seconds for the One X.
5 seconds, and the One S is even slower
and
53 seconds.
53 seconds for the Xbox One.
Which is, of course, an earlier release from 2015 for the Xbox One. Again, it is absolutely no content.
8 seconds.
The Series X loads up the level in just under 9 seconds. and that's including there's a 5-second deployment countdown. Interestingly, the 1S is actually a little bit faster here than the 1X.
26 seconds for the 1S,
but regardless,
33 for the 1X. Huh. Oh crap, an advertisement. I get it, you know, he gotta make his money. Austin gotta make his money.
The biggest test here, though, really is Red Dead Redemption 2. Now, this is a game that pretty much taxes the current consoles to the max, kind of like how GTA 5 taxed the Xbox 360 and the PS3 when it first came out. And because of that, the load times specifically are very
37 seconds.
Slow. Throw it on the Series X, though, and it is much better. Still not blisteringly fast at 37 seconds.
37
that's
seconds.
a full minute faster than what you get on the 1S or the 1X.
Oh, man. There's a huge difference with this generation than the last generation, meaning there's a huge difference with the 9th generation as far as load times than the 8th generation, which is the 1X and the 1S. There's a huge difference.
Having that SSD and the more powerful CPU, you're seeing a pretty decent upgrade. Just for fun, I wanted to try out how fast an Xbox 360 game would load, so I chose Gears of War 1. Now, this is a game which was much simpler and it was meant to run on a disc, so even the SSD in the Series X, while it makes a difference, isn't a massive difference, although a few seconds is still a few seconds. I even tried an original Xbox game, Fusion Frenzy, but well, all 3 consoles loaded it up almost instantly, so didn't really feel like that was working.
Yeah.
This is just a taste of the improvements that you can expect loading games on the Series X. With that standard SSD, it's going to help all games, period. But especially when you consider that you can have a game which is a little bit better optimized for the velocity architecture and get significantly better performance with the compressed speed on the SSD, you should actually expect to see Xbox Series X games that are fully built for the console to load even faster. Something else that all games get for free is Quick Resume. So right now I'm playing Forza Horizon 3 just like I was before, and if I want, I can hop out and jump into Gears of War, and you will see that because I have already loaded up with Quick Resume, it's going to jump me right in. So I don't have to wait for the entire game to load or anything like that. It, after just a few seconds, gets right in. So one of the nice things about, as I die, Quick Resume, is that it actually will load both games at the same time. So now I'll go ahead and jump in. You can see the little Quick Resume little icon show up. I can jump into Red Dead 2. So this is not infinite. You can't just load every single game of all time. You can load more older games because they take up less memory, because essentially this is all just being loaded off of the SSD. So you can see I'm playing Red Dead. Oh, you know what? I'm done with Red Dead. I'm gonna jump into Fusion Frenzy. And even though this is an original Xbox game, it is still supported here. If you give it just a second, I will be right in the middle of the game where I left off. So Quick Resume is something that is still being tweaked and optimized. But as you can see right now, I can jump between 4 or 5 games really easily.
That's interesting. That's
it's
neat.
all completely seamless. You don't have to think about it. You can turn it off if you want for some reason. And you can still quit the game if you want to get out of it and start afresh. But it's nice to have this pretty much just always running in the background. I feel like that's one of the things that this next generation of consoles is really going to provide, is a sense of fluidity. Things just happen really fast. You don't have to sit around and wait for 3 minutes for your game to load, moving back and forth between them. Everything is just gonna happen much quicker. We're gonna get used to it really quick. So technically, this is not final hardware for the Xbox Series X. However, considering that it works and it is fully functional, we're just gonna say that it's close enough for right now. Oops, that's not supposed to be here. We're just gonna censor this. This doesn't exist. Let's take a little bit of a closer look at. So first of all, it is dense. So I actually don't know how much it weighs, but it is, it's not light. The Series X is 4.4 kilos, or
I definitely like the music.
Freedom units, 9 pounds, 13 ounces.
9 pounds.
A big, heavy baby. So you'll see that it is significantly thicker, but when you actually look at it, it doesn't actually take up that much more space. It's more just sort of the footprint than anything else. So I can confirm that the Series X is in fact the thickest Xbox of all time. So if we take a quick look around the Series X, you'll see that it is very similar to that dummy model that we unboxed a little while ago. So we have our Blu-ray drive up front, as well as our console pair button, a USB-A port, as well as the power button. Nothing on the sides. However, if you come around back, you'll see we have our 2 more USB-A ports for a total of 3, Ethernet, figure 8 power cable, the expansion module, which is where you will plug in the memory cards or the storage, whatever, the memory cards, and you also have HDMI 2.1 out. So interestingly, you can see that there's definitely some sort of grills on the bottom as well as on the side. And just like we showed in our teardown, all of that heat is pulled up through the top and exhausted through the fan on top, where of course this little dish is not an LED, unlike what it looks like in both videos. And then there's the controller. So at first glance, the
controller looks pretty much the same.
Identical to the Xbox One.
It really does look pretty much the same. Like when you really think about it. I mean, look at the controller. Look at it. It has a different D-pad and it has that share button, but other than that, it really looks the same.
The Series X controller looks identical to the Xbox One. However, it's been pretty much tweaked and tuned in basically all areas. So the shape is now slightly different to accommodate different sizes of hands. You have a new textured finish.
Oh, the video's almost over.
Better latency. You also have a share button. But if you want to know more about the controller, check out the video we did over on our second channel, This Is, where we go much more in depth on the various different controllers that you can use on the Xbox and whatnot. And make sure to stay tuned to the channel here because there's a lot more to talk about with the Xboxes and the PlayStations over the next couple months.
So, yeah, that's pretty much it of the video. You know, the Xbox Series X is going to load games much faster. It's going to run games better, you know, especially your 360 games, your Xbox One games, your original Xbox 2001 games, you know, it'll run all those pretty much better. So yeah, this is going to be, when you really think about it, the ultimate retro gaming machine in a way. Because, like I said, it's running, you know, 2001 Xbox games, Xbox 360 games, Xbox One games, a lot better. So yeah, that's all I pretty much have to say. Thank you guys for watching. Peace. Hit that notification bell. Hit that like button. Hit that subscribe button. And when you hit that notification bell, you gotta hit all notifications. So you can be notified for future Lavon Cason videos and future Lavon Cason live streams. Bye.